I mentioned the two Americas in our introduction, but it's much more than how our country sees this president and his uselessness for the rule of law, for our checks and balances, and our basic democracy. Our president, who by the way swore an oath to protect all Americans, has made it clear in word and deed that he is anything but colorblind. To Donald Trump, it's about red and blue, MAGA or other, and his government will condition its treatment of its citizens depending on their fealty to him. Now consider just this week. Trump felt pushback to his mass deportation plan, even within his own party, and he decided to hasten a conditioned retreat. After he realized what was plainly obvious to the rest of us, that our agricultural and service industries would be crippled without the labor of hardworking immigrants, Trump decided that raids would cease on farms and hotels in red states, but they continue in Democratic-led cities. His pettiness extends far beyond labor. After Mother Nature wreaks havoc on our homeland with floods, hurricanes, wildfires, and more, a government is the only mechanism that can marshal its resources for rescue and recovery. But to Trump, it depends on where the storm hit and if the governor of that state is perceived as a political threat. FEMA has already been gutted under DOGE, and the agencies that detect and monitor storms are shadows of what they were pre-Trump. Now, Trump is making it clear as we approach this season that the expected aid in the aftermath will be dependent on if that state voted for Trump last fall. Think about that. The latest example of how he's perverted the notion of equal government is at the VA. Now, while medical staff are required to treat patients regardless of color, race, religion, or sex, new rules of the VA have explicitly removed protections based on political party affiliation, marital status, and national origin. Healthcare professionals can also be barred from working at the VA depending on their political affiliation if they're unmarried or belong to a union. So, net result, doctors, nurses, therapists, and so many other professionals suddenly being expected to violate their Hippocratic oaths. Now, whether this survives the inevitable court challenge, it's really besides the point. My friends, this is only the beginning. When the Supreme Court basically said the president was above the law, and the GOP post-insurrection decided to bend the knee to a dictator, Trump read the room and said the only limits to his assault on the Constitution were his imagination. Now, I'm buoyed by the outpouring of protests this past weekend and the paltry crowd, conversely, at the Trump birthday parade. Polls show that on issue after issue after issue, the public is also souring on Trumpism. So let's hope his party follows their lead and shows just a fraction of the patriotism that they swore to uphold, because we know that our president won't.